India's economy grew 1.6% in the first 3 months of the year compared with the previous quarter, but there are fears those gains could be wiped out as a deadly second wave of COVID-19 infections continues to rage. Those at a higher risk include at least 400 million people who, according to UN estimates, live under the poverty line. Dominic Brian Omondi looks at how they're trying to survive during the pandemic.
A safe place for those who have no one to help them. An NGO has set up this facility in Bengaluru for homeless people who are thought to have COVID-19.
I kept these ventilators to help overwhelmed hospitals and was already ready to be a COVID care center. All of a sudden, 194 people were here with COVID. I faced a lot of problems because I am also living here with my wife and my children. We are very scared, but we can't leave since the people here believe in us.
Dozens are housed here, but only the very sick or elderly are given beds. The rest have to make do with mattresses on the floor. But many poor Indians who have a place to call home aren't much better off. Abdul Rashid is a rickshaw driver in New Delhi. His wife says he doesn't earn enough to feed the family.
Children want milk, food, clothes, this and that. We manage with whatever my husband is able to earn. If it's not enough, I can stay hungry so I can feed my children.
Rashid and others like him are eligible for an Aadhaar card. It's the only way for Indians to access social security services. But illiteracy and bureaucracy means most poor people don't have it. Instead, they are forced to depend on charity.
If they come with food, we get to eat. If they don't come, we sit in the hope that they'll come. If they don't come, we'll stay hungry.
The government is being pressured to relax the rules and give people better access to hospitals and income support programs. Charities say it's India's best shot to protect millions of poor families as the COVID-19 pandemic ravages the country. Dominic Brian Omondi, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, let's speak to business strategy specialist Harish Bijoor, who joins us now from Bengaluru in India. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Can I ask you first to reflect on what were, I guess, reasonably positive growth figures for India's first quarter? The economy grew by 1.6%, and that was before the second COVID-19 wave engulfed the country. Was India on the right track in terms of recovering from the first wave of the pandemic?
Okay. For the entire financial year, we had a degrowth. But quarter one was good, and we had started on a good track of about 1.3%. But quarter two has been difficult because I think, quarter one was a period of time when the first wave of the pandemic was going down. It was being managed well. And I think, we had gone through tumult. We have had issues of hospital beds not being available, etc., etc. But we overcame that. But nobody anticipated the second wave. And the second wave was bigger than the first wave. And I think that is what is hurting us. The growth of 1.3% that we're talking about in the first quarter, that's going to get eaten up for sure, because the second quarter is definitely very bad because we've had lockdown. And as of today, as I speak, possibly only 52% of the country is on a partial open up mode, whereas the rest of the country is still on a lockdown mode, which is 48% of the country. And I think that is a key issue as far as GDP numbers go for the year ahead.
And we did see that in response to the first wave of the pandemic last year, the Modi government introduced quite a drastic national lockdown, which all but crippled economic activity across the country. This time around, the government was quite reluctant to impose a similar nationwide lockdown. He left it up mainly to the different leaders of the states that were affected by this second wave. Do you think the government this time around was more concerned about keeping economic activity going as much as it could, even though some were saying that perhaps there should have been a national lockdown?
Well, the first time round, it was a big surprise for everybody. It was a big hit in the solar plexus for the entire nation. And, the entire government machinery looked at it very, very seriously. And the lockdown was total. It was really total, and particularly 2 solid weeks of a lockdown, followed by another 2 weeks. That was terrific. But then that was when cases weren't as big as they are in the second wave. In the second wave, the philosophy seems to be to say that, hey, listen, we are a federal nation. And if you really look at it, each state knows how to manage its own issue better. And let's localize it. So worldwide, we have seen that whenever you have localized management, it is more precise, it's active, it's quick, and it's decisive in the measures it takes. And I think that was the second approach. All said and done, we don't have a national lockdown, but if you peep into the states, as I did tell you, as on today, on the 1st of June, only 52% of the country has come out of that lockdown. The 48% of the country is still in the red zone of being under a lockdown, and that does hit economic activity.
Okay, Harish Bijoor, we will have to leave it there, but we do appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.